Welcome back. In our last video we looked at how to trim video, so how to eliminate pieces of that video that we don't want. Another setting that you see here is this speed setting. So you can see that I've got a number of different video clips in here, a number of different pieces, and I can see that really clearly. If I slide this all the way to the left, you can see that there's 3 of them. Now, one thing that I can do is I can clip on a particular clip and I can adjust the speed. So I can maybe make this go 8 times faster. If you've ever seen a video that looks like it's in fast motion, this is how it would work. So if I click on this, you can see it goes through that section very, very quickly. Okay, and that's an effect that might be useful in certain circumstances. I mean, maybe 8 times is a bit much, but if you had something that was repetitive in your video and you didn't want to clip it out, you might just speed it up, and then when it gets to the next section of the video, you can see that this is 1x. So this video is 8x, this is 1x. If I wanted a portion of this video to be 8x but not the whole thing, what I would need to do is I would need to clip it into separate videos first. So break out the piece that I wanted to move more quickly and then assign that speed to that. Okay, there's also an option while we're here of video volume. So I can bring this up or down. This is particularly useful when the volume between clips is dramatically different. When one is much lower and the others are much higher, you can kind of balance those out a little bit so that they, so it's not jarring to the person listening to the video. Okay, let me come back to home here. You do have an option to record narration, so you can simply do a voiceover or add some things in your own voice. You record narration. It's picked out my headset that I'm currently wearing, which is fine, and I can just, I can adjust some settings, but usually I don't have to, as long as those audio, as long as it picks the correct audio device, whether that be usually better for a headset or something. If you're using a microphone out on your laptop, that's okay, but it's more likely to pick up background noise, etc. And by clicking settings, you could come in here and like jump into the microphone and adjust the level. Like this is very high right now, so I could bring this down, etc. So something to play with. You say OK, and then you have a record button. So now I'm recording some audio, and that's really good, and so I hit stop, and it'll allow me to save this as a file. So I'll call this sample narration. I'll just put this on my desktop. I want to make sure I know where I'm putting it. And now you can see that there's a sample narration along the bottom. Okay, let me take that first clip, and to start with, let me put this back on speed here. So you can see now that this narration is only a portion of the total video. Now the problem is the narration from the video itself and this voice recording are going to conflict with each other. So this narration is generally better used when you have a video that does not have narration on it. Okay, we can add music. So if you say add music, if you have some music you can upload it, but this is a nice link here. It's Free Music Archive. It's not going to be the popular commercial music, but if you did want a soundtrack, you could come here, you could say sort by genre, and it would give you some different choices. Okay, you can download the file here. And then you can add the music here. You can see that's now in its own track at the bottom. Okay, obviously again a conflict between the narration and the music, but now this time we have a choice. We can come in to the project view and we can pick an audio mix. So we're gonna see here that this is the video and this is the music, and I'm gonna slant that heavily towards the narration on the video, and let's see how that goes. Video from the PowerPoint presentation. Just something that's worth watching, and I'll tell you, this is just a small sample. There's a lot of stuff out there, and simple searchers will find it for you. Okay, so many times you're not going to put music in, but if you want to, that's how you would work with that. Okay, other things that we can do. Very important thing is animations. Transitions between these slides can be kind of rocky without them, so you have a wide range here of different choices for your animations. That's Crossfade, a very popular one, so I'm just going to click on the video, crossfade that. Let's see what else we have here. We could do all sorts of things. Okay, so let me play that so you can see. Okay, so you should have seen the transition there. That one was in the form of a cross. Yeah, this one is a little different. Okay, so lots of different options in there. Let's see. This is a very popular one right here. This is Crossfade. So it's very simple. One just becomes more faint and the other becomes more prominent until they transition from one to the other. Okay, there is another option here, and that's pan and zoom. I'm going to slide this to the beginning of the presentation and pick this one, and let's see how that looks. So you can see now that it's taking your video and it's kind of bringing it in and twisting it at the same time. So it's just a little effect to make things more interesting. You can also set the duration on those. So this is going to take place over 1.5 seconds, but you can adjust that to a degree. You can make it much longer, etc. You can also apply this to all as in your transitions, which is actually a good idea in the sense that your transitions are fairly consistent throughout. So if you're using a crossfade, it's probably a good idea to crossfade between all of your sections if you want to do that. Okay, visual effects. You can see here now this is just putting filters over it, so different coloration. Not something I tend to use. And that's about it for the major features. The only thing that we have left to look at, if we go to the Home tab, is how to add titles manually. Let me delete this narration because it's kind of been in the way for a while now. So you just click on it and hit the delete key. And you can do the same with the music track if you want. Now, in order to put titles, etc. on, you simply, like here, I'm going to click title. It put a title up in front for me. You know, we've seen this before. And I could drag this to a new location if I wanted. I can always double click it to go back in and edit it. Okay, other types of things that you can add are simply captions. So let me click over here and add a caption. Okay. So my caption is here. I'll tell you, this is just a small sample. There's a lot of stuff out there. And so you can see that slides down and overlays the video that's already there. Now you can make a lot of adjustments to this. I could align it left or right. I could put the box wherever I wanted to put it. I could change the font color here to something much darker. I could change the font size if I wanted. You know, so all the normal adjustments you would make. I'm going to bold that. You've also got a transparency here, so I can alter that. So now the box is a little more, and simple searches will find it for you. Okay. This box is a little more solid, so a little easier to see. And you have the edit text, and you also have a start and text duration. So this is starting at 14.75 seconds, and then it's got a duration of 7. But I can adjust that also. So if I adjust this down to 2, your assignment is to create a presentation. Let me bring this back. Something's worth watching, and I'll tell you, this is just a small sample. There's a lot of stuff out there. So you can see that comes and goes very, very quickly. Credits is just another form of caption. It's going to go at the end, and you can see that there are specific ones for director, starring, location, soundtrack. So they're kind of fun, but nothing terribly special on them. They just have this effect. Okay, if I come back here, you can notice that it's slid down. That's because the effect is on here. So if I didn't want that to happen, I could simply change it. Or I could add any type of transition here. This is just a small sample. There's a lot of stuff out there. Okay, so playing around between your title, your caption, your credits, and the different features that come with them. So when I'm on, any one of them, I'll have some entrance or some visual effects here. I'll be able to put outlines on them. And some of the normal text options that you would expect. And I think that's about it. It's really a matter of being able to clip your videos where you'd like them, to add animations to smooth out your your transitions between video clips. I would say the other important thing to do is, if you're going to include background music along with narrations, to be able to adjust the sound levels in there. And then basically be able to control and format the different text options, etc., to make sure that everything looks good and is clear. When you are done, you simply save the movie. And it's going to give you a whole bunch of formats here. Probably the best one to pick at this point is YouTube. And it's going to output it as an MP4 with the correct settings. Let me put that on my desktop. And that may take a few minutes for this to complete, but at that point you'll have a finished movie. Okay, now that the process is complete, I can either give it a test play here, or I could have just gone to my desktop where I saved it and opened that up. And it'll take a second for this to load. Again, videos sometimes take a little more time than other files. But you can see the finished product here. So there's my little introduction. The different things that are going on. And you can see here that I never completed my credits or anything along those lines. But I do have a fully functional video at this point. If you have any questions, need any help, just send me an email.